I try as best I can, as often as I can, to bring the real world into the classroom or to send the students out into the real world. So they are always doing observations somewhere, or I'm bringing in speakers. I bring in our alums that I know are working and they're close enough and in areas that our students are interested in into the classroom so that they can hear what the practical experiences are like. In most college situations, they will say, go out and find an internship and we will supervise you. One, I teach an internship course, and so students are able to come together with other students as they're going through their internship experience. So if you're doing an independent internship, then you know what you're doing, and most of the time that's a lot of filing and paperwork, and then you get a little bit of the other stuff. But I actually go out and find the internships for the students and look for those quality experiences where they're able to have a lot of hands-on and really get to see what the field looks like. And then when you're sitting in the class, if there's 8, 10, 12 other people, you may have really thought you were interested in working with children, and you get in there and go, oh my God, this is really not for me. But this student over here is involved in something else that sounds really, really interesting. And you're getting to hear week by week, blow by blow, the kinds of experiences of everybody in your class as we have our group supervision. So when I'm talking to students now, we don't talk about, well, I want to be a profiler or even I want to go into private practice. What I say is, what do you love about psychology? If you love the clinical aspect of it and you think at some point, maybe I want to teach, maybe I want to do research, then you become a clinician. But you become a well-honed clinician because there will be opportunities that will avail themselves to you that I can't even tell you about right now. Sports is opening up. Teams now are hiring a team of psychologists to work just with the individuals. We think about sports psychology in terms of motivation and things like that, but I'm talking about interpersonal dynamics, family issues, marital issues, all kinds of things where they're not saying, go to see that person. They're saying, they're in the back room. We want you to have a conversation with them. So there's so many areas like that. The military, there's so many things. You don't have to be military to work as a psychologist in the military, and there's so many areas now that are high security areas that people don't even talk about, but that we're there. In my adult psychopathology class, I always bring in 1 or 2 individuals who have survived certain types of psychopathology, and they share their stories through one of our community mental health agencies. And I think that too kind of opens the door for our students that even haven't ever experienced it personally, for them to be able to say, that's what it looks like,
Sure.
Not just I've heard it or I've read about it. We have such a diversity of faculty representing so many different facets of psychology that you might not find at other schools. We have 2 clinicians, one a generalist, myself, and then someone who specializes in health psych. We have an evolutionary psychologist. We have a cognitive psychologist. We have biological psychologists, social psychologists, developmental psychologists. So we really are able to represent the discipline well, and there's lots of course offerings based on our specialty areas that students can take. Most of our students present in at least one conference before they graduate. A lot of them present in several conferences before they graduate. And in addition to that, we also do a lot of professional development. So when they leave that course, they have written their resume. They know how to write a grad school application letter. They know how to write a letter of intent for employment and a cover letter. As well as they know how to look for graduate programs, both master's and Ph.D. programs that would be amenable to what they're looking to do in the future. So they get a very well-rounded experience on how to get out there in the field. What I've talked to students about now is preparing for a lifetime. The field of psychology, as well as every field, is just changing so rapidly, especially with technology and all of that. There are so many opportunities that when I was in school didn't even exist. My best friend, who's also a clinical psychologist, and we went to graduate school together, she is now consulting for a lot of the reality television shows, doing the preliminary assessments to make sure that they are appropriate for television. That didn't exist when we were in graduate school. You can't prepare for that. You just become the best clinician that you can, and then these opportunities kind of avail themselves to you. So that's what I tell them, not to worry about a job, worry about being the best that you can be in your field. There's no secret about the fact that I'm one of the more demanding professors that's here, that I have the expectation that you're going to work at least half as hard as I do. And I come into the classroom, every class, to play, and I play hard and I work hard. And so I have that same expectation with my students. I think the other thing that students resonate with me is I'm going to tell you the truth. Whether it gels with your reality right now or not, you will hear it from me, and you can always trust that I will be fair and that I will be honest. They learn to appreciate it. I always tell them I'm the professor that you will hate now and love in 3 years, because when you go to graduate school or when you get that first job, you're prepared. I can write very strong letters of recommendation for my students because I know what I've taught them and I know what they're ready to do. And that's where I am with my children as well, and I say that to them all of the time, because my daughter, who's a teenager now, is like, you want me to be just like you? No, I want you to be the best you that you can be. And then when I don't see that, I push, and I push hard. But when I see that you're where you need to be for yourself, then I'm satisfied. So if a student is a C student and I know that they're working hard and they're getting everything out of what I have to offer that they can get, I am satisfied and I am fine with that because I know they are doing their all. But if I have a student that's a C student that I know can be an A student, then we have conversations. I don't want to live with any regrets, and I would not like them to do that either. So be the very best you that you can be.